The cargo ship Raven's Spine drifted through dark space far from any trade route. Its metal walls groaned as engines coughed out thick gray smoke. Inside the control room, the alien smuggler Vorak slammed his clawed hands against the console. "You idiot!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the deck. "You stole a human child?" Zin, the smallest of the crew, froze in the corner. His gray skin shimmered with fear. He held a small silver pod in his shaking hands. It looked like normal cargo," he stammered. "A stasis pod, no tag, no warning. I thought it was something valuable." Lura, the third crew member, tall and calm, turned from the pilot's chair. Her 4 golden eyes narrowed. "Let me see," she said quietly. The pod hissed open. Cold mist spread across the room. Inside lay something small. Soft skin, tiny fingers, and a faint heartbeat. The crew leaned closer. It was unmistakably human. "A baby," Lura whispered. "He stole a human baby." For a long second, no one spoke. Only the hum of the ship filled the silence. Then Vorak took a step back, his voice dropping to a growl. "You fool. Do you have any idea what you've done?" Zin blinked, confused. "It's just a child." "Just a child?" Vorak cut him off. "No one touches human children. No one even looks at them. You've doomed us all." The lights flickered. The ship's AI voice crackled. "Warning. Unknown signal detected. Tracking beam approaching fast." Vorak's yellow eyes widened. "They've already found us." The child inside the pod stirred. Its small blue eyes opened. For a moment, the crew froze again. The baby looked around, calm, almost curious. Then something strange happened and the ship's damaged systems suddenly stabilized. Power readings jumped back to full. Lura looked at the console in disbelief. That shouldn't be possible. The reactor was dying. The baby giggled softly, reaching toward the ceiling lights. Every sensor flickered to green. Vorak's breathing quickened. "It's changing the ship." "Like it's controlling the systems." Zin backed away, terrified. "It's not normal. It's not a real baby." Lura whispered. "Maybe. It's something more." The ship shook violently. Red alarms flashed across the control panel. "Alert, Terran fleet signal detected," the AI said. "Range, 2 million kilometers and closing." Vorak slammed a claw against the panel. "Terran fleet? That's humanity's war force. They shouldn't be this far out." Zin cried, "We can dump it. Throw the pod into space before they find us." "No," Lura said sharply. "It's alive. I won't kill a child, then we all die with it." Vorak barked. Outside the ship, the stars shifted as a massive shadow appeared behind them. A dark ship, silent as a ghost, blocked their path. It was shaped like a blade, sharp, black, and endless. Lights ran across its surface like veins of fire. Vorak's voice trembled. "That's a Terran Sentinel, one of the old destroyers. No survivors ever reported seeing one and living. The Sentinel sent no signal, no message. It simply followed." Inside the Raven's Spine, the air grew cold. The baby started crying, soft at first, then louder. With each cry, the ship's systems pulsed strangely, as if something unseen was responding to the sound. Lura held the baby close, whispering softly. "Shh, it's okay." But her voice trembled too. Vorak watched the radar. "It's not okay. That thing is scanning us." He turned to Zin. "Plot a jump to deep sector E9. Now." Zin's fingers flew across the console. "Jumping in 5 seconds." The ship engines screamed. The stars stretched into lines of light. For a brief moment, everything went white and they were gone. But the relief didn't last. A minute later, the AI spoke again, its tone low and almost afraid. "Warning. Object followed through hyperspace. Tracking signal active. They followed us?" Zin whispered. "That's impossible." "Not for humans," Vorak muttered. He looked at the child. "They built machines that move faster than thought itself. You think you can hide?" Lura's voice was barely a whisper. "What do they want?" Vorak turned to her, his eyes cold. "What do you think? That child belongs to someone powerful, maybe military, maybe worse. When humans lose something, they burn worlds to get it back." The ship trembled again. Vorak slammed the console. "Prepare for another jump." But then the baby laughed. The sound was light, almost musical, and every alarm stopped. For a second, even space outside seemed to go silent. "What did it just do?" Lura breathed. Vorak stared at the child. "That's no ordinary human. That's something else." The baby's eyes glowed faintly blue again, and its tiny hand reached toward Vorak. He hesitated, then touched its hand. A shock ran through him. He saw flashes, human ships, endless fleets, cities burning under alien fire. And one figure standing before them all, a woman with silver armor and cold eyes. A voice echoed in his mind. My child will never be lost. Vorak staggered back, gasping. We're dead, he whispered. That baby. It's her child. Whose? Lura asked. The Iron Mother, Vorak said slowly. The human warlord who destroyed the Krath Empire in a day. Zin's voice cracked. Then she's coming for us? Vorak looked out into the void, watching as the Sentinel ship reappeared. Closer this time. She already knows where we are, he said, and she's bringing hell with her. The Raven's spine drifted in cold space, its engines barely holding together after the jump. The crew sat in silence. Only the soft hum of the ship filled the air. Zin's trembling hands gripped the pilot controls. We lost them, right? He whispered. No one answered. Vorak stared at the radar screen, a green circle pulsing faintly. Every few seconds a red dot flickered on and off behind them. They're still there, he muttered, always just out of range. Lura stood near the small cradle she'd built from spare parts. The baby slept inside, calm and peaceful, as if nothing in the universe could touch it. She brushed a hand over its head. How can it sleep through all this? Vorak turned sharply. Stop touching it! You're the reason we can't think straight. That thing's cursed. Lura didn't move. Her voice was quiet but firm. It's not cursed. It's scared. Zin looked over his shoulder, eyes wide. It's a human, Lura. They don't get scared. They make everyone else scared. The ship's AI spoke suddenly, breaking the silence. Incoming transmission, wideband frequency. Everyone froze. Vorak nodded. Play it. A deep human voice filled the room. It was calm, cold, and terrifying. This is Commander Rion of the Terran Protectorate Fleet. You have something that belongs to us. Return it immediately and you may live. Ignore this warning and your system will be reduced to ash. The message ended. The ship went silent again. Lura felt her chest tighten. They know, she whispered. They already know we have the child. Vorak slammed his fist against the console. How? Where we jumped to deep space? Zin swallowed hard. What if... The baby is the beacon? What if it's sending the signal? Lura's eyes widened. You mean... Yes, Vorak growled. The humans marked it. DNA tag. Smart, no matter where we run, they'll follow the signal right to us. The lights flickered again. The AI spoke, voice trembling now. Multiple signatures detected, 20. No, 30 Terran drones inbound, Zin screamed. We're dead. We can't fight 30 Terran drones. Shut up and power the shields. Vorak barked. Outside the ship, black shadows appeared and small, fast and deadly. The drones moved like living creatures surrounding the Raven's spine. Their eyes glowed red. Message incoming, the AI said. But before the message played, the drones opened fire. Blue beams sliced through space. The Raven's spine shook violently. Sparks burst from the ceiling. Shields down to 40%. Zin yelled. We can't take another hit. Lura held the baby tight as the ship lurched sideways. Do something! Vorak gritted his teeth. I'm trying. He hit the emergency thrusters. The engines roared, propelling the ship toward an asteroid field ahead. Zin stared at the screen. You're flying into rocks. That's the point, Vorak snapped. They won't risk following too close. The ship plunged into the field. Massive stones spun through the darkness. The drones followed, lasers cutting through the shadows. Each near miss lit up the inside of the cockpit like lightning. Evasive pattern delta, Vorak shouted. Zin's hands flew over the controls. The Raven's spine weaved through the debris, scraping against asteroids and dodging explosions. Then something strange happened. The baby opened its eyes again, glowing blue. The light spread through the ship like veins of electricity. The AI's voice glitched. Energy levels rising. Impossible readings, Lura gasped. It's doing it again! Outside, the nearest drones stopped moving. Their lights turned from red to blue, the same color as the child's eyes. Vorak's jaw dropped. It's controlling them. The drones suddenly turned and fired on their own allies. Explosions ripped through the asteroid field. The remaining drones scattered in confusion. Zin yelled, It's saving us! But Vorak didn't look happy. His voice was filled with fear. No, it's showing them where we are. Every human ship in range just saw that signal. Lura turned to him, desperate. We can't keep running forever. Maybe if we give the child back, too late, Vorak said. You think humans forgive? They'll kill us just for touching it. The AI interrupted again. Warning, Terran capital ship approaching. Class Dreadnought. Sin nearly fell from his seat. A dreadnought? That's a planet killer! Lura's heart raced. What do we do? Vorak looked at the child, whose glowing eyes slowly dimmed again. We hide, he said. We find someone who can take it off our hands. Zin blinked. Who would be crazy enough to buy a human child? Vorak's lips curled into a grim smile. The blood market. Outlaws, bounty traders, pirates. They'll buy anything that breathes. Lura shook her head. That's suicide. It's survival, Vorak said coldly. We trade the baby, we vanish, and maybe, just maybe, we live. Outside the ship, the dreadnought's engines lit the stars. It was like watching a son being born. Lura looked down at the child sleeping in her arms. Its tiny hand gripped her finger. Despite everything, she smiled weakly. You're just a baby. How can you cause all this? The AI whispered its final warning. Dreadnought lock confirmed. You are being targeted. Vorak's voice was low. Zin, prepare the next jump. Set course for the blood market. He looked at the child one last time. You better be worth it. As the ship vanished into hyperspace, the human dreadnought turned slowly and followed. The hunt had truly begun. The Raven's spine came out of hyperspace with a thunderous jolt. Lights flickered and alarms screamed through the ship. Vorak slammed his hand on the console, trying to silence the noise. Report, he barked. Sin's eyes darted across the glowing screens. Engines are overheating. We lost one stabilizer during the jump. If we try another, we'll melt the reactor. Vorak cursed under his breath. We're dead if we stop and dead if we move. Perfect. The ship spun slightly as it drifted into a vast region of floating rock and debris, a graveyard of old ships and broken satellites. The silent remains of forgotten wars stretched for miles. Lura held the baby close, feeling its warmth against her chest. The child slept peacefully as if unaware of the chaos. We can rest here, she said softly. Just for a moment. Rest? Vorak snapped. You think the humans will rest? They're already tracking us. Every second we sit still is a second closer to death. Sin pointed to the radar. No signals behind us. Not yet, Vorak growled. But they'll come. They always do. The wreck field was quiet, too quiet. The ship's faint engine hum echoed through the twisted metal. Lura looked out the window, scanning the dark shapes. She saw giant ship carcasses drifting like ghosts, their hulls torn open. Who fought here? She asked. Vorak's face darkened. Everyone. This is what happens when humans go to war. Whole fleets vanish. Sin shuddered. Why do they fight so much? Because they win, Vorak said coldly. Suddenly the ship's AI spoke. Warning. Energy signature detected. Proximity alert, Vorak jumped. Show me. A small blip appeared on the radar. Then another. Then 10 more. Not again, Sin groaned. They're not Terran, Vorak said after a pause. Wrong signature. These are pirates, Lura frowned. Pirates? Out here? Vorak nodded. The blood market is close. They're scanning for new prey. As if to answer him, a transmission crackled through the speakers. A harsh voice filled the cockpit. Unidentified ship, this is Captain Rawl of the Crimson Blades. Power down and prepare for inspection. Zin whispered. What do we do? Vorak smiled grimly. We play dumb. He pressed the comm switch. Crimson Blades, this is the Raven's spine. We're traders carrying medical cargo. We've had engine trouble. A short silence followed. Then laughter. Medical cargo, huh? We'll see about that. Lura's hands tightened around the baby. They'll find it. Vorak nodded. That's the plan. What? Zin cried. Think, idiot? Vorak hissed. We can't sell the baby if no one knows we have it. The blood market runs on fear and profit. Let the pirates see it first, and word will spread. Someone rich enough will come for it. The pirate ship locked onto them with a tractor beam, dragging the Raven's spine closer. Metal screamed as the smaller ship was pulled toward a massive hangar bay. Inside the pirate ship, chaos reigned. Noise, smoke, and flashing lights. Armed aliens of all kinds surrounded the smugglers as they stepped out. Captain Rawl, a tall, red-scaled beast with glowing fangs, grinned. Medical cargo, huh? Let's see. Vorak opened the small pod. The baby inside blinked up at the crowd, calm and unafraid. Rawl's grin faded. The room went silent. Is that human? He asked slowly. Lura nodded once. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some stepped back. Others began whispering. One pirate even dropped his weapon and ran. Ral's eyes narrowed. "You brought that here?" "It's valuable," Vorak said carefully. "Worth more than you can count," Ral snarled. "You think I'm stupid? Humans destroy anyone who touches their young. You brought death to my ship." He raised his blaster, but before he could fire, the lights exploded into a blinding flash. The baby had started crying. A deep hum filled the air. Every weapon in the room shorted out at once. Sparks flew. The pirate ship's lights flickered, then shut down completely. Ral roared, stumbling backward. "What's happening?" Vorak shielded his face from the light. "It's the child." "It's doing something!" The air grew heavy, like the whole ship was being pulled apart. And then, just as suddenly as it started, everything stopped. The baby stopped crying. The lights flickered back on. Everyone looked around. Dozens of pirates were gone, turned to ash where they stood. The rest fell to their knees, terrified. Ral dropped his weapon and stared at Vorak. Take it and go! Before the humans come." Vorak didn't argue. He grabbed the pod and ran. Lura followed, clutching the baby. Zin ran behind, yelling, "They're going to kill us all." They reached the Raven's spine and launched out of the hangar. Behind them, the pirate ship began to explode, not from attack, but from within. As they fled, Vorak watched the flames through the window. "Now the whole blood market knows," he said quietly. "Every bounty hunter, every thief. They'll all be hunting us." Zin's voice shook. "And the humans?" Vorak stared into the stars. "They'll be right behind them." Lura looked down at the child, now fast asleep. "Why are you so calm?" she whispered. The ship's AI broke the silence. "New incoming transmission, Terran code. Message repeats, return the child or perish." Vorak gritted his teeth. "Run or die. Those are the only choices we have left." He slammed the throttle forward. The Raven's spine disappeared into the void, carrying the most dangerous baby in the galaxy. The Raven's spine floated in silence between two dying stars. The ship was barely holding together. Burnt panels, broken screens, and leaking gas filled the narrow halls with the smell of smoke and fear. Vorak sat alone in the cockpit, staring at the endless black outside. His claws tapped on the console as he whispered to himself, "A human child, and a whole galaxy hunting us. What have we done?" Behind him, Lura entered quietly. She looked tired, eyes red, clothes covered in dust. In her arms, the baby slept peacefully, its small hand gripping her finger. "He hasn't cried once since we escaped the pirates," she said softly. "It's like he knows we're scared." Vorak didn't turn around. He should be scared too. He's the reason we're all going to die. Lura frowned. "Don't say that. He's just a child." Vorak turned sharply. "That's no child. That thing erased 50 pirates with a single cry. That's not innocent, that's power." She stared back at him, voice steady. "Maybe he didn't mean to. Maybe he's only protecting himself." Vorak's eyes glowed faintly. "Then we need to know what we're carrying before it kills us too." The AI's voice broke the silence. "Captain Vorak, a data file has been recovered from the pirates' network before destruction. It is encrypted with Terran military codes." "Show it," Vorak ordered. A holographic display appeared, blue light flickering across the dark room. Lines of human script scrolled fast across the screen. Lura frowned. "Can you translate it?" "Working," the AI said. "Translation complete. File title, Project Solon." Vorak leaned closer. "Solon? That name sounds familiar." The hologram shifted to show a photo. A tall human woman in silver armor, her face cold and sharp. Her eyes looked like they could cut through steel. The AI continued reading aloud. "Admiral Vera Solon, Supreme Commander of the Terran Protectorate. Known to all sectors as the Iron Mother, feared across the Outer Rim. Creator of the Solon Protocol, the genetic defense system linked to her offspring." Lura blinked. "Her offspring?" She looked down at the baby in her arms. "You mean—" Vorak's voice trembled. "That's her child." The ship suddenly felt smaller, like the walls were closing in. Even the AI seemed hesitant to speak. Zin stumbled into the room, hearing only the last words. "Her child? You mean that thing's mother is Admiral Solon, the same one who burned the Krath Empire in one day?" Vorak nodded slowly. "The same. They say she wiped out whole planets that touched Earth's colonies, and now she's hunting us." Zin's face turned pale gray. We're doomed. The AI continued reading. The child carries the Solon gene, a weaponized form of quantum DNA. When threatened, it activates an energy field capable of manipulating technology and matter. The child cannot be harmed without triggering a planetary-level retaliation signal. Lura gasped. Planetary level? Vorak's claws dug into the console. If anyone kills that baby, the humans destroy the planet that did it instantly. Zin covered his face with both hands. Then we can't even touch it. We can't sell it. We can't do anything. The AI added, Final note, the child must never leave Terran protection. If lost, activate fleet-wide retrieval. No force in the galaxy may stop recovery. Vorak stared at the words in silence. No force in the galaxy, he repeated quietly. Lura sat down beside him, holding the baby closer. So this isn't just about a child. It's about a weapon. Vorak turned to her. A weapon born from the most dangerous human alive. Zin muttered, We should throw it into space and run. Lura's eyes flashed with anger. You'll do no such thing. She'll kill us when she finds us, Zin shouted. She'll burn everything we touch. Lura stood, her voice sharp now. Then maybe we give it back. Vorak laughed bitterly. You think she'll forgive us for stealing it? Humans don't forgive. They erase. The baby stirred, tiny fingers brushing Lura's chin. Its blue eyes opened, glowing again, soft and warm. For a moment, everyone froze. Zin whispered, It's looking at you. Lura smiled weakly. He's not afraid of us. The baby giggled, a small, sweet sound that echoed through the broken ship. Lights flickered back on, power stabilizing. Vorak watched in silence. It fixed the ship. Again. The AI sensors beeped softly, energy readings rising. No threat detected. Source, the child. Lura looked down at it. He's helping us, Vorak didn't answer. He stared at the glowing blue light reflecting off the child's face. Helping us, he said quietly, or making sure we don't die, before his mother arrives. Outside, the stars shifted. A faint glimmer appeared in the distance, small then growing. The AI spoke softly. New signal detected. Terran transmission code verified. Zin froze. She found us. Vorak's voice was low and cold. Then we find somewhere to hide before she reaches us. Lura held the baby close. She's coming for her child. Vorak looked out the window at the approaching light. And she's bringing judgment with her. The raven's spine turned slowly and vanished into the dark, but in the silence that followed, the baby smiled, as if it already knew what would happen next. The raven's spine hung in the shadows of a dead moon, its engines cold and silent. Nothing moved outside, no light, no sound, no signal. Vorak had ordered a full shutdown. Even the AI spoke in whispers as if afraid of being heard. The smuggler crew waited in uneasy silence. Lura sat on the floor, rocking the human baby gently. Its breathing was calm, steady. She could almost believe it was just a normal child. But the silence around them wasn't peace. It was the breath before the storm. Zin broke the stillness first. We can't hide forever, he whispered. His gray skin twitched under the flickering lights. They'll find us. They always do. Vorak didn't look up. He sat in the pilot's seat, eyes fixed on the dark sky outside. Then we wait until they do, he said softly. Lura frowned. That's not a plan. It's the only one left. Zin kicked a loose wire. We should have left the baby on the wreck field. Maybe they'd have spared us. Vorak's jaw tightened. Spared? You think the Terrans spare anyone? The air went cold. Everyone fell silent again. Then suddenly the ship lights flickered blue. The AI's voice whispered, Incoming transmission. Origin unknown. Signal strength maximum. Vorak's claws twitched. Put it on. The speakers came alive with static. Then a woman's voice, sharp and clear, filled the ship. This is Admiral Vera Solon of the Terran Protectorate. Lura froze. Zin gasped. Vorak felt his stomach twist. The voice was calm but carried the weight of thunder. You have taken something that belongs to Earth. You have one chance to return it. One. Silence. Then her tone changed, colder, deeper. If I must come for it, there will be no negotiations. There will be no mercy. The stars you hide behind will burn. The worlds that helped you will fall. Return the child, or perish. The transmission ended. The crew sat motionless. Only the baby made a sound, a small coo like a laugh. Zin whispered, She's talking about him. About that. Lura clutched the child protectively. She's his mother. Of course she wants him back, Vorak growled. That wasn't a mother's voice. That was a warlord giving a death sentence. Outside, something massive moved across the void. Vorak saw it through the cockpit window. A faint glimmer at first, then a glowing shape cutting through darkness. He leaned forward slowly. No. Dozens of ships appeared in formation, black triangles gliding through the shadows. Terran dreadnoughts, each one larger than a city, their hulls marked with glowing silver emblems. The crest of the Protectorate. Lura whispered, "How many are there?" The AI answered in a hushed tone. 47. And counting, Zin's voice cracked. 47? They brought an entire fleet for one baby? Vorak stared, his throat dry. No, not for one baby. For a message. The baby in Lura's arms opened its eyes, blue light reflecting off the cockpit walls. The glow pulsed once, twice, and then faded again. Hide that light, Vorak hissed. But it was too late. A beam of red energy scanned across the moon, slicing through rock like butter. The raven's spine shook violently as the scan passed over it. They've found us, Zin screamed. Vorak slammed the controls. Hold on! Engines roared to life. The small ship darted out from behind the moon, weaving between debris as the dreadnoughts began to turn. Lura shouted over the noise. We can't outrun them, Vorak snarled. Then we make them chase. He steered the ship into a nearby gas cloud, a swirling storm of violet mist and electric light. The dreadnoughts followed, their sensors lighting the darkness. Zin's hands trembled as he checked the radar. They're closing in fast. We've got 6 drones on our tail. Launch counter decoys. Vorak ordered. Already did. They're ignoring them. The AI's voice interrupted. Terran signal incoming again. Don't play it, Vorak snapped, but the system ignored him. The voice returned, cold and steady. You are carrying the blood of Solon. You cannot run from Earth. Every jump you make, every lie you tell, we see it. Return the child, or face extinction, Zin shouted. Shut it off. Shut it off. Lura held the baby tighter, whispering, Don't listen, little one. Don't be scared. The baby's eyes glowed again, brighter this time. The ship's system surged. Power readings spiked. The AI stuttered. Warning, unknown energy inside reactor core. Vorak's heart pounded. What is it doing now? Lura's eyes widened. He's protecting us. The raven's spine burst forward at impossible speed, light bending around it. The Terran drones fell behind, their scanners jamming. For a moment, the ship was safe again. Zin slumped in his seat, gasping. I can't take this anymore. First pirates, now dreadnoughts, next it'll be gods themselves. Vorak said nothing. He just stared at the child glowing softly in Lura's arms. Lura spoke quietly. She said every jump we make, they see it. That means she's watching us right now. Vorak met her eyes. Good, let her watch. He turned back to the console. Set course for the outer rim. There's one place even humans won't follow. Zin frowned. You mean the shattered belt? That's suicide! Vorak's grin was grim. So is everything else. He looked once more at the baby. If humanity wants its child back, they'll have to find our bones first. Outside, lightning flashed through the purple storm as the raven's spine jumped into hyperspace again, leaving behind the Terran fleet and the burning red glare of Admiral Solon's warships. The raven's spine limped out of hyperspace like a dying beast. Flames flickered along its left wing and smoke filled the cabin. Sparks rained from broken panels. Every alarm screamed. Vorak slammed his clawed fist against the console. Engines dead. Zin coughed, clutching his seat. We can't jump again. Reactors finished. The ship drifted aimlessly into the darkness of the shattered belt, a vast field of spinning asteroids glowing faintly red from volcanic gas. Lightning danced between them like angry spirits. Lura pressed a wet cloth against the baby's forehead. The child whimpered softly, blue eyes dim. He's weak, she whispered. He used too much energy during the last escape. Vorak gritted his teeth. Good. Maybe he'll stop saving us before he kills us all. Lura shot him a hard glare. He's a baby, Vorak. He's a weapon, Vorak growled. And every weapon runs out of control one day. Zin looked between them, voice shaking. Argue later. We've got bigger problems. The radar lit up. Dozens of red dots appeared, unclosing in fast. Vorak stared at the screen in disbelief. They found us again. How? Zin gasped. They never lost us, Vorak muttered. Humans don't chase, they herd. They've been pushing us exactly where they want us to go. The AI's voice trembled. Multiple Terran ships approaching. Class assault frigates, range 1,000 kilometers, Lura whispered. We can't fight them. No, Vorak said. But maybe we can talk, Zin's eyes widened. Talk to humans? Vorak nodded. We can't run, can't hide, can't win. Only thing left is surrender. Lura hesitated. They'll kill us. Maybe, Vorak said. But maybe not. He looked at the baby, sleeping in Lura's arms. They want him alive. That's our only chance. Minutes later, the Terran fleet surrounded them, giant ships of black steel glowing with white lights like cold stars. Their guns pointed directly at the crippled smuggler ship. The comm system came alive. A calm male voice spoke. Unidentified vessel. You are in violation of Terran Protectorate Code 01. You are ordered to surrender immediately. Power down all systems, Vorak took a deep breath. Do it, he said. Zin's claws trembled as he flipped the switches. The ship went dark. No weapons, no shields, no engines. They waited. A white beam of light cut across the Raven's spine, scanning every corner of it. Then a second voice spoke. Soft, female, cold. This is Admiral Vera Solon. Bring them aboard. Lura's heart stopped. She's here, she whispered. Moments later, a blinding flash filled the cabin. Terran soldiers materialized inside, tall figures in silver armor, their helmets glowing with blue light. They moved with quiet precision, rifles raised but steady. Hands visible, one ordered. Vorak slowly lifted his claws. Zin froze in fear. Lura stood holding the baby. One of the soldiers turned his weapon toward her, but then hesitated. The baby opened its eyes, bright blue, glowing softly. Every soldier stopped moving. The room fell completely silent. Then one by one the humans lowered their rifles and knelt. Vorak's voice was barely a whisper. What are they doing? The lead soldier spoke, his voice trembling. The child of Solon. Alive. He looked at Lura. You will come with us. No harm will come to you. Zin blinked. Wait, you're letting us live? The soldier didn't answer. He only touched a glowing emblem on his armor. The air shimmered again. Vorak, Lura, Zin, and the baby were suddenly standing inside a massive Terran warship. The walls were silver, smooth, and silent. Soldiers lined the corridor, heads bowed as they passed. At the end stood Admiral Vera Solon. She was tall, wearing black and silver armor that glowed faintly under the lights. Her hair was white as ice. Her eyes, cold, sharp, and human, locked onto the child in Lura's arms. Lura's legs almost gave out under her gaze. She felt like she was standing before a god. Solon stepped forward slowly. Give me my child. Lura hesitated. He's safe. I took care of him. I know, Solon said softly. He told me, Lura blinked. Told you? He can't even... The Admiral's lips curved slightly. Not with words. She gently lifted her son into her arms. The blue glow from the baby's eyes faded as he smiled and nestled against her chest. For a moment, the galaxy's most feared warrior looked almost human. Then her gaze turned to Vorak. The warmth vanished. You stole from me, she said quietly. Vorak bowed his head. It was a mistake. We didn't know. I believe you, she said. But that doesn't matter. The floor beneath them rumbled as explosions echoed from far below. Zin looked around terrified. What's happening? Solon turned toward the window. Outside, bright beams of light were tearing through the darkness. Terran ships destroying everything in the shattered belt. My fleet is cleansing the region, she said calmly. No witnesses. No threats, Lura's eyes widened. But the pirates, the scavengers? They'll all die. They chose to live among thieves and killers, Solon said coldly. Now they pay the price, Vorak clenched his fists. We didn't mean harm, Solon looked at him. That is why you will live. To remember. She turned away, holding the child close. Take them to a shuttle. Leave them on the nearest neutral world, Zin whispered. You're letting us go? Solon didn't answer. She simply said, the Terran Protectorate does not fear revenge from the weak. As soldiers led them away, Vorak glanced back one last time. The Admiral stood by the window, her child glowing faintly in her arms, watching her fleet burn 1,000 stars to ash. And Vorak finally understood. Humans weren't monsters because they loved war. They were monsters because they loved too deeply, and destroyed anything that touched what was theirs. The stars burned red behind them. Vorak stood at the edge of a cliff, staring into the orange sky of a ruined world. The ground trembled under his feet. Smoke rose from the forest below, curling like dark ghosts into the air. The raven's spine lay half buried behind him, silent and broken. It had been 3 days since Admiral Vera Solon let them go. 3 days since they saw her fleet burn the shattered belt to dust. 3 days since Vorak stopped sleeping. Zin sat nearby, staring at the ashes falling from the sky. She destroyed everything, he said quietly. All those ships, all those people, gone. Vorak didn't answer. He had seen it all. The blinding light, the soundless explosions, the fleet swallowed by fire. Humanity's wrath wasn't loud. It was silent and precise, like a god's hand erasing a name from history. Lura stepped out of the ship carrying a small container of water. Her face was pale, her eyes distant. There's no one else left here, she said. Not even scavengers. The Admiral's fleet cleared every orbit. This planet's forgotten now. Vorak turned to her slowly. Good, that's how I like it. Lura frowned. You really think we're safe? Vorak stared at the horizon. No, we're alive. That's all that matters. The wind howled through the empty plains. The air tasted like iron. They had built a small camp inside the wrecked ship. At night, the 3 of them sat around a dim lamp, barely speaking. Even the AI remained silent, damaged from the last jump. Lura kept glancing at the empty cradle, the one where the baby had once slept. He's gone, Zin said softly, watching her. You have to stop thinking about him. She shook her head. You don't understand. That child wasn't evil. He was just different. Vorak snapped. He tore a pirate ship apart. He froze a fleet mid-flight. He made humans kneel with a look. You call that different? Lura met his gaze. He also fixed our ship. He saved us. He smiled at me. Monsters don't smile like that. Vorak said nothing. His claws tapped against the metal floor. Zin looked up suddenly. Wait, do you hear that? A low hum filled the air, deep and distant. The ground shook again. Lura's heart dropped. No, not again. The sky split open. A massive Terran dreadnought descended through the clouds, engines glowing white-hot. The air rippled around it. Its shadow swallowed the camp whole. Vorak stumbled back, shouting, What is she doing here? The dreadnought stopped above the valley, floating like a silent moon. Then, instead of weapons, beams of light shot downward, carving giant lines into the ground. Lura shielded her eyes. She's marking something. Zin squinted through the dust. A symbol. The lines formed a circle, the emblem of the Terran Protectorate. Inside it, a single name appeared in glowing blue light. Solon. A voice echoed from the dreadnought speakers, cold but calm. To all worlds who watched and waited, humanity's child has been found. This sector is under our protection. Any who touch it again will cease to exist. The message repeated in 100 languages. It wasn't just a warning, it was a declaration. Vorak fell to his knees. She's turning this whole planet into a grave marker, Lura whispered. No, into a shield. She's protecting her child's trail. No one will ever find us again. Zin laughed bitterly. Protecting? You call this protecting? She's showing everyone what happens when you cross her. Vorak looked up, voice shaking. She's not showing them. She's teaching them. Hours later, the dreadnought was gone. The sky turned dark again, leaving behind glowing embers drifting like stars. Lura walked out to the edge of the valley. In the distance, the ground still shimmered with the name Solon. She could almost feel its power, calm but terrifying. Vorak joined her quietly. Do you ever wonder, he asked, what that child will become when he grows up? She nodded slowly. If he's anything like his mother, he'll change the galaxy. Or burn it, Vorak said softly. They stood in silence, watching the last of the flames fade into night. Then faintly, a small hologram flickered to life beside them. It was a transmission, encrypted, human, faintly broken. A woman's voice played through static. To those who kept my child safe, you will not be forgotten, Lura froze. That's her. You saw humanity's wrath, the voice continued. Now see our mercy, live, remember, and never touch what is ours again. The message ended. Zin stared at the stars. Mercy, he muttered. That's what she calls this? Vorak looked up. She could have killed us. Instead, she left us to live with what we saw. That's worse. Laura touched the hologram's fading light. Maybe it's not about fear, she said quietly. Maybe it's about love. A mother's love. Vorak turned toward the horizon where the symbol of Solon still glowed faintly against the sky. Then God's help the galaxy, he murmured. The day that child learns to love too. The wind howled one last time, carrying ash and light into the dark, and far above the stars, beyond the edge of sight, a small human child laughed softly, a sound so pure, so innocent that even the universe seemed to pause for a heartbeat. Then the laughter faded, leaving only silence, and the memory of humanity's wrath.